Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today again we've got the third kind of episode of a wonderful testimony from my father-in-law, Bishop Cecil Williams. So without further ado, Cecil, would you continue your telling your story from your earlier days in Pakistan? Thank you.
Well, in the last episode, I just ended with that I became the head teacher of the school. I want to tell you something about this school. In the older times, nowadays, of course, there is a lot of rush there and not a good, neat place. But in the old times, before the creation of Pakistan, this used to be a very posh area. And the place where the school is, this used to be the residence of the governor of Kabul. Kabul means Afghanistan. So it was his residence, and along with the residence were his courts. And the building where the courts were, these were huge doors, you see, huge like gates, you see, big doors. And perhaps an elephant can easily pass through those doors. These were the very big doors, you see.
So these are the big gates.
No, these were the doors, you see, of the rooms.
Oh, inside the house?
Inside, not
inside, okay.
It's not the gate.
Okay.
But they were still very big, very high, you see. And in between those, there was a big hall type of a thing. I don't know for what purpose they used it. But this was the building, and there used to be, the residence where the governor of Kabul used to live. It was the place where the head teacher, now I was residing in that, you see. So that was a fantastic place. And when English took over this province at that time, they called it NWFP, that is Northwestern Frontier Province. Nowadays it's known as Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So the missionaries would come to city, but they were always told to leave the place, the city area, and go to the cantonment area when it is bit dark or evening. So the missionaries and all the white people, they used to live in the cantonment area of Peshawar, not in the city area.
The controlment, like a special kind of compound.
No. It is the big area where army. It's the army area.
Right.
See.
So they were
So army area was known as cantonment.
Okay.
Yes. So this was an interesting place, and there, in 1853, to educate the people of that area and perhaps that province, this school, of course, was started in December. I don't remember the date now, but in December 1853 they started the school, and this was the first educational institution in the whole of the province of NWFP, that is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Only one school, and the first school that was established in 1853. So, and there was no church at that time, because church came into being afterwards. And the church, of course, is also very interesting. It's known as All Saints Church.
All Saints.
All Saints Church. All Saints, All Hallows, or whatever you call, but the name is All Saints Church. This church was built in the shape of a mosque.
Oh.
Yes. And so it is facing towards correct direction towards Kaaba. and it has a dome over it, and beautiful, very beautiful, and a unique church. You see, I think it's a unique church in the perhaps in the whole of the world. If you have a chance to go and visit this church, you will really fancy it. You see, there are still the Persian language, some verses written there. You see, in Persian language, and at the altar, back of the altar, there is history of the church and many people
right.
who had died or who had worked there as missionaries and done this work. It's at the back of the altar.
Mm.
So this is the school. This was the school where I was placed, and so I stayed there. I mean, perhaps for many years, from 1979 to 2001. 2001.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes, that was the long period that I stayed in that school as a deputy head teacher and as a head teacher both, you see. I think it's about 30 years or 31 years.
Wow. And
A long
so,
period.
so obviously your children would have grown up in that area.
Yes, of course, yes, of course. Well, one thing, it was a Urdu medium school, but there was another section which was English medium. But unfortunately, there are many Christian bastis in Pakistan, I mean in Peshawar. But these children of these Christian bastis, because they were doing the menial jobs in the Peshawar Council, so they were not usually encouraged in the school to get admission. So when I became head teacher, I had a passion about this, that who is going to lift these poor families up. So I had that passion to give admission to those children into this school, and so that they may get educated, they may get at least matriculation, and they may be educated, and then go on. If they are able to, they can get admission in Edwards College, which was also in the cantonment area. So many students, they passed and they got admission in college as well, I remember. So this was how my aim was to lift my community, that is Christian community,
Wow,
to
fantastic.
give them uplift, you see,
Fantastic.
and educate them and get them out of these menial jobs. Anyway, and my children, God rewarded me of my efforts. I mean, this building, of course, was not made of baked bricks, but mud bricks. And because it was in the old time, and in the old time, usually these mud bricks, they were better because they are cool inside, and outside it's very, very warm, very hot, but inside you can feel a bit cool, you see. So that is why, and amazingly, the walls of this building, where the school was, the walls, single wall of that building, they were about, you will not believe it, but sometimes they're 6 feet thick.
Goodness me.
6 feet thick
Why?
walls
Why?
to keep it cool.
Really?
Keep it cool and save it from attackers as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness me.
So that was the building, and I was always thinking that if this building is demolished, it will become a huge mountain here, you see, because there is so much mud there, though, so much this But when school was made, perhaps at that time, outside there was put a there's a brick lining outside, baked
Right.
bricks, you see,
Okay.
lining outside to protect this building,
Mm.
and the very heavy roof over. I mean, it's a huge thing, you see, which I was always, when I was deputy, I was always, is there anybody, will there be anybody who will sometimes perhaps rebuild this school, because this building is not going to stay for a long time.
Right.
So it was quite difficult, but I didn't know what God is going to do. I mean, afterwards, I can tell you that God used me to rebuild that school, the whole school building, you see, double-story building. God used me to build that building, and it was not from the mission, or the diocese money or church money, but it was from the government. That government helped. God was gracious, and government was giving me the money, and I rebuilt that school, and still there,
That's incredible.
still there, and but there are not many students there nowadays
Mm.
because of yes.
So you're saying really that for quite a few years while you were the deputy, you had this thought, this idea, you were just wondering, will anyone rebuild it? And then
Yes.
God
Yes, used me.
used you, yeah. And how did that kind of happen? Did you just become more convinced that I should build it? Did God speak
No,
to
no,
you?
no, no, no,
How
no,
did
no,
it happen?
no. I actually, I don't know. I mean, uh, I can't say anything. But wherever I went into the government offices, they would always respect me. You see, being a principal of Edwards High School, they always would respect me. And this is, I mean, I've been to so many government offices and civil offices as well, and they always would respect me. And sometimes the government, the director of education, once I went to his office, there were other head teachers sitting, government head teachers sitting there.
Mm.
And when I entered the office, the director of education, he stood and he greeted me, and he said, please sit there. And all those government principals, they were amazed. I mean, how come this, the director of education, has stood up and greeted this person, and then doesn't greet us. But so I mean to say that it was God's mercy, you see, and God's providence that wherever. And I really didn't know when I got the first grant. I didn't know that there is a grant for me or for the school, and I didn't know that. And somebody told me, "Oh, they are looking for you, and there is a grant for the school. You go and find it out." So I went to the government office. You see, this Directorate of Education. I went to that office, and I found out that there is a quite a lump sum amount there, which is for the not for the running of the school, but for the building of the school.
Goodness me.
And this was the first time I got the amount, and I built a few rooms, you see, with that. And then,
when did this start? What year did this start?
well, I don't remember it now. I mean,
1990s, 80s?
19, maybe 80s, late 80s, 80s or late 80s, something like that.
Yeah.
Then second time I got the grant, and so this mission was completed, you see. It's still there. So, and then my children were there, my son, of course, who is at present vicar in Scott B. Carlisle in England, and my both daughters, one is in Canada, the other one is in England, in Leeds. They both are medical doctors. So I thank God that he made, perhaps this was the reward that God gave me of his obedience. So one thing that we learn from walking with God is be always obedient to God. Whatever circumstances come, God is always with you. It's not that God will abandon you. So this is the lesson that we get from my life. I can tell you that God is always with us. He never abandons us. If only we have to be obedient, work obediently with God.
Amen.
So, and then from there, I was selected to become a priest as well. So after doing all the other things, you see, which of course, took certain time. This Peshawar is quite far away from Lahore, because Lahore is in the frontier province, Lahore is in the Punjab province, and Peshawar is in the frontier province. And the poor Christians, of course, when they needed something, it was not very much convenient for them to travel so much and go to Lahore and see the bishop or get something, you see. And the bishops, of course, were not always available, so it was quite difficult. So we tried to struggle and start our campaign to make a separate diocese in Peshawar, that is for the whole of the province of NWFP. So it was a hard struggle, because there were many leaders, Christian leaders, in favor of Lahore diocese. So I was, and only a few of us, not many, we were trying to start a campaign for the get a bishop for Peshawar diocese.
And is this, for people listening, which denomination is this? Which
it's
Christian?
Anglican denomination.
Right, in Pakistan.
In Pakistan only there are two denominations having dioceses. One is Roman Catholic, the other is Anglican. Yes. And there are 8 dioceses, Anglican dioceses, in the whole of Pakistan. So we started it, and after a hard struggle, very hard struggle, which I had to lead the whole struggle, and we were able to get a bishop in 1980. 1982, the bishop was installed in 1982.
Fantastic.
So, yes. And then it was a separate diocese, but in the beginning, there was nothing, there were no funds there to run the diocese. So I had to sometimes, help the diocese from my school funds to get it running. So, and look after the priests as well and the institutions as well. And because we had 2 big hospitals in our diocese, we had high schools, we had church schools, we had, there were quite a number of institutions in that diocese. So that was the work that I had to do. So I did it faithfully as long as I believe.
Wow. And how much of a struggle was that? Excuse me. To try and look after the people in the northwest. Was that a fight against, apathy within the denomination, or
No, it's not. Well, only because when bishop was installed, bishop didn't have a car.
A car?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He has to go here and there, but how could he go?
Yeah. And he was based in Lahore?
No, he was based in Peshawar.
Okay.
Peshawar bishop, when it was installed.
Oh, right, okay.
he didn't have the diocese did not have a official vehicle for the bishop.
Right. Which makes it difficult to
It's
visit.
very, very
I think
difficult.
very difficult, and it's impossible,
And
really.
I had only a Suzuki pickup, and I remember the bishop going on a Suzuki pickup from here and there, you see. And these are quite hard days, you see. And we have struggled a lot in those days to establish the diocese, to keep it running, the diocese. So, because there were no funds, still the missionary agencies, I mean, they haven't, started their process of funding the diocese. So, and the actually our mother diocese, that is the Lahore diocese, whatever funds they used to give to this area, they stopped that. So there was nothing, you see. So it was quite hard and quite difficult, you see. But anyway, God helped us, and we kept it running in those difficult days with the Bishop Khairuddin, who was the first bishop of that diocese, and myself, and my children, of course, and then they were married, and married in Punjab, and my son got married when I came to England. It's
Okay.
after that, you see.
Yeah.
So
And that was about 2002, something like that.
the 2003,
Okay.
2003 got married.
Amen.
Yes, and he is in Carlisle nowadays. Yes.
Well, should we pause this episode here and then look to continue the story in another episode, or would you like to carry on a bit more now?
But then I think next episode I'll carry on with my ministry,
Okay.
because this was a secular job.
Yeah.
All this thing.
Yeah.
Next it will be the ministry period, you see.
Okay. Fantastic. So for now we'll say cheerio, and we'll continue in the next episode. Thank you.